What's up, everybody? Ty Bartellin with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head to our friends over at the Falls, skipper of the Newton Falls Tigers baseball program, Chad Rankin, joining me today. Coach Rankin, how we doing, man?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm not doing too bad, and I'm sure you guys are doing pretty well considering the weather's been pretty solid this week. We're going to have a chance to get outside, I think, in most instances. What are you seeing from the guys early on, and what's standing out to you?
A lot of excitement. Like you said, weather's breaking. We've been outside a couple days. We got a scrimmage tonight at Wyndham. So, it's excitement. Once you get out of that basketball lull, the winter, the being stuck inside, it just feels good to be outside.
When you get into kind of the scrimmage season too, what are some of the things you're particularly looking for? I mean, obviously you want to give everybody a little bit of an experience, I assume, but what are the things you're looking for?
Scrimmages for us are all about reps, experience. We got a lot of freshmen this year. So like you said, it's going to be getting those reps in, seeing what these guys can do in, game type situations.
I want to give you a chance to do a sort of meet the team segment to kind of go through your roster, highlight some names we're going to need to keep an eye on this season, and maybe some newcomers that are going to take the scene.
For sure. We're led by three strong seniors who started for me. This is, they're all going to be 4-year lettermen after this year. Cam Huff, Ethan Powell, Trevor Rusko. Those guys have been with me, for 4 years starting. Leland Vargo's coming back. He's a sophomore. He was an all-league player last year. We got Georgie Phillips coming back at first base. And to be honest, the rest are going to be sprinkled in with some freshmen. We're going to have 3 to 4 freshman starters this year, most likely. So, Nick Reynolds, Zane Shelton, Wyatt Wheeler, Michael Bennett. I could go on and on. We've got this is probably the biggest freshman group I've had since I've started. And like I said, 3 or 4 of them are going to be starters.
How exciting is it for you though that when you have those freshman starters, you have guys that are 4-year letter winners that are kind of an example, a mold that you can kind of point to in your seniors?
So it's actually been, it's really cool because the 3 seniors I have now, we kind of started something 4 years ago and we've built on it every year. And now that they're seniors and we have this big group of freshmen coming in, they see what the expectation is, day by day. And it's going to be nice. This year I only have 3, but, in 4 years, I'm going to have 5 or 6 of those guys that know what's expected daily. And it actually takes a big burden off of the coaches.
Let's talk about this conference because it's no laughing stock. It's always a competitive one, tough games night in and night out. What do you foresee out of the conference this year, too, competition-wise?
Like you said, I think we have one of the best baseball conferences in probably Northeast Ohio, us in the NE8. We're loaded. We got us, you got Garfield, LeBray, Crestview, Champions in the mix again. And then, we get Campbell dropped down to the lower tier and we picked up Southeast, and they were pretty good last year. So, I mean, you're talking 5 or 6 good teams. And I think within the last 5 years, almost every year, the league's been decided by 1 or 2 games. So, I mean, it's a very competitive league. Lots of players every year go on to play college baseball from our league. So, like you said, it's going to be a challenge.
What's going to be your team's sort of identity for you guys to get your wins and kind of play to?
So, what it's been for us the last 3 years is pitching. We have a very good pitching rotation, led by Cam Huff, our senior. Trevor Rusko is coming back off an ACL, who was a all-league pitcher as well. We've got a couple freshmen coming in, but pitching has carried us a lot. We preach fundamental defense. Last year we limited the errors, and it's situational hitting. Get guys on base and find a way to move them around.
When it comes to game day, too, for those that may not know you, too, what's kind of your game day philosophy to get those dubs?
Game day philosophy is get people on base and move. Simple. The longer I do this, the simpler coaching philosophy becomes. If you make simple plays in high school baseball and get guys on base, the chance of you winning, go through the roof. Field ground balls, catch fly balls, hit the cutoff, bunt, squeeze, whatever you got to do to get guys on base, move around, and good things usually happen.
We talked about your conference schedule. I also want to kind of highlight the non-conference schedule because, I mean, those are the games where you can really start testing yourself, too, against teams that maybe you're not so familiar with. What's that non-conference schedule look like? What are some games you're excited for?
So we're always excited. We started a couple years ago leaving the last week of March and going and playing different tournaments. First year we went to Myrtle Beach. Last year we went to Nashville. This year we're going back to Nashville. So, last year we got to play a defending state championship team down in Nashville. So again, you go down there. This year we're playing another great Tennessee team. We've also played a team in Alabama. So, that's where the excitement comes from. We sprinkled some teams in from around here. We picked up Akron Ellet this year. Don't know much about them, but it was kind of a connection through another coach. So I really enjoy playing teams that we don't normally play and going and playing, giving these kids a chance to go play on different fields that, they usually don't get to see.
You talked about some of the pitching on your team too, but I mean, I am impressed with some of the hitting stats. I mean, obviously Cam Huff leading the way too, but you got guys that were all hitting 400, high 300s too, up and down the lineup too. How critical is that going to be too on the offensive side? Who do you think is going to lead the way? Who's going to need to kind of step up for you this season? Do you foresee?
So definitely the back half of our lineup is what's going to need to step up if we want to, contend for a league championship. Those back 7, 8, 9 spots, but again, Cam Huff, Ethan Powell, Trevor Rusko, Leland Vargo, Georgie Phillips. I think our top 4 or 5 hitters it's probably, in the top half of the league of the top 5 spots in the lineup. But again, you got to get people on base, and it's situational hitting. Those guys can't be the only ones hitting. Once they hit and get on base, that back half of the lineup's got to be able to move them around and get them in.
I know you guys can't do it yourself too. I also like to give the opportunity for you to shout out your coaching staff, those who are kind of there to do it with.
So I'm blessed. I have a very large coaching staff. It's bigger than most high school football staffs. I got a lot of parent help, a lot of people coming back. So this year, our JV coach is Zach Engel. I've got Brent Powell, Tom Hansel, Holden Hansel, Hayden Gazda, Tony Hufford, Matt Lubanovic came back this year, who's a former alumni. Who am I forgetting? Myself, but I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't forget anyone. I got like a solid 7 assistant coaches that come and go different days. They have different work schedules. So we also have Brendan Jones coming back, who was a teacher here last year, moved into a different career, but he's going to come sprinkle himself in whenever he gets time. So like I said, a lot of guys who work different jobs, who kind of rotate in and out when they can be here.
I know the head coach of Newton Falls baseball is not your only title there at Newton Falls too. You would be the athletic director. Talk to me just a little bit about just wearing the different hats too, how you have to manage the time too, and what it takes on that end for you to make sure everything's done on both ends.
So it's been a little hectic this year. So I originally, I graduated from here. I coached basketball with Coach Simback it's been forever now, probably going on almost 20 years. I started doing that. I took over baseball about 7, 8 years ago. A couple years ago, like you mentioned, I took over AD. I quit doing basketball at the time. So this year I jumped back into basketball, and then obviously I'm doing baseball. So it's been a little hectic. But like I said, I'm from here. I'm an alumni. My kids go to school here. I'm really invested in it, and I try to do everything I can to help our athletic program succeed and move forward.
An alumni that has his hands in so many different programs. Right. What about Newton Falls has had your heart for so long?
My family's here. My whole family's here. I'd have left a long time ago if my whole family wasn't here. Met my wife here when I started teaching here 10 years ago. My kids go here. It's a great community, a great place to grow up. I know we're in the news for various things now and then, political, whatever, but it's a great place to raise a family. There's a lot of great kids here. The school system's great. And I think it's just, if people like me take the time and invest into it, I think a lot of good things can happen here.
Is it feeling like a full circle moment for you now, seeing the kids going through the school system and kind of looking back on things?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, time flies. I talked to my wife about how fast it goes once you actually have your own kids, how much faster the school year goes. So, we had our kid, and he's actually going to be in our building next year in 6th grade. And that's going to, kind of be a crazy thing to see your kid walking around the halls.
How much is the wife support mean to you too? Because I always call mine the MVP at the house too. For you to be able to go out, being the athletic director, have your hands in so many different sport programs.
So that was a long discussion when I decided that I was going to be AD. Like how much time's invested, and we had our little struggles here at the beginning where one of us is gone all the time, but we've kind of worked ourselves in a rotation, and she supports me a lot, and knows how much I invest into the school, into our kids here at the school, and. She's always supportive, she does different things. If I need because she's really good with the tech side of things. If I need a banner or some sort of graphic made, she's right on it, always there helping me.
You love to see it too. You love to see the family involvement. Coach, I want to give you a chance to shout out your first game of the season too, where the community can catch you too. And also shout out to the community why this is going to be a baseball team worth catching this year.
Right. So, like I said, our first game is going to be March 28th, but that's going to be down in Tennessee. So, if anyone makes the trip, come on down. Our first home game is going to be April 1st against Liberty. Our park, we play down at the city park. And once it gets warm, man, and we're playing good, that park gets filled up. It's actually a really cool experience being down there and seeing 100 people sit behind your fence there. So, and a reason to be excited again, we had a pretty successful season, I would say, last year. We got a strong group of seniors coming back, a lot of freshmen incoming, and it's a good mix. I expect us to, again, very competitive league, but I expect us to compete for the league. And then, beneficial thing to us is, with them redrawing the divisions in the state, all those hard teams that we play in our league aren't even in our division. So, I feel at this, I don't know who's all in our division because we really haven't played a lot of those teams because we don't see them. But I honestly feel like our league's going to be a lot tougher challenge than probably first couple games in the district tournament. So good chance for us to do some things. We've never won a district title here at Newton Falls for baseball. And, that's been one of these seniors' goals for, 4 years now is to bring the first one home.
We all know it all comes down to pitching, coach, too. And I do like your guys' chances. How much does it drive those guys when they do see those 100 people sitting out there supporting them and lining the fences?
I mean, you can tell the atmosphere down at the park when we're up, we're playing well. And like I said, there's 100+ people in lawn chairs along the fences. There's people even because the back, the home run fence behind it is a playground. So sometimes you'll have a bunch of kids and stuff just standing back there behind the fence watching. Energy from the city and community support is a huge thing in any sport here. Even when we're struggling in sports, we have great community support. We come out, we fill the stands. You see a lot of familiar faces at almost every game. And the kids realize that and understand that how much the community is behind them. So, it's definitely a driving factor.
Well, we're behind you here as well at YSN, Coach. We wish you the best of luck this season. I know it's going to be a gauntlet of a conference schedule too, but you guys are going to be right in the thick of it. I have no doubt. Best of luck on the diamond this year, Coach. We'll be seeing you real soon.
All right. We appreciate you.